Hey, I thought I'd make this video about race, class, socioeconomic issues. And it's interesting because I'll talk to my white friends and stuff and my Asian friends, and I'll tell them like what I'm looking for in a guy, and they're like low standards. I tell a guy that's like black or Latino the same thing, and they'll tell me I'm looking for a white man. And the thing is that my standards aren't even crazy because all my standards are basically everything that I am to transfer and to just say I want that in a man. And it's nothing like all crazy. It's just like pretty basic. Just like income and everything because it's California. I live in California. So if you're making under $104,000 for a single person, you qualify for government benefits and you're low income. So if I make like 100,000 or so or more, and I say I'm looking for somebody that makes that, and then people are like, "Oh, you're a gold digger." But if I make that and I want someone else to make that, it's like, how is that a gold digger? But if I make that and you make like $30,000, I'm not a gold digger and you're not a gold digger. But okay, it makes no sense to me to date somebody equal or close to equal. And then if I say I don't want someone with kids and things like that, or a certain height generally doesn't come into play that much because most guys I date, well, all the guys I date meet the same standards as me, and they tend to exceed those standards. Because the guys that I date, most of them have like master's degrees and stuff and make well over $100,000 and live on their own. Or if they don't live on their own, they'll live with like their good friend. But they live in like a nice place and they might split a house or something in like a nice neighborhood. But generally, they live alone. But they make good incomes, and a lot of time, like nobody's around because either they're working or they're going on vacation or doing something or hanging out. Because I remember one time I was telling this guy that I didn't like to fly. Because sometimes you go on dates and then like guys are trying to get you to go flying. And I don't like flying. Because San Francisco area is a tourist area. So there's like, you can go on like tours and like water boats and stuff around. And then a lot of, I don't know, it's weird. I meet more guys that have pilot's licenses than I meet that have driver's licenses. I don't know why. I guess maybe because of the areas I'm in and where I tend to meet people. But sometimes a guy might have both a pilot's license and a driver's license. Because I was telling this guy one time that I didn't like flying. And then he was like, okay, you're a gold digger. And this was a guy, he was black, but he like grew up in America, but his family was from Africa, like East Africa. And I was telling him about something, and then he's like, "Oh, for me to do something like that, you need to put out or something." And I thought that was so weird cuz like I've had guys do less for me and I didn't even know their last name. And the black guy's like, "You need to put out for something like that." But the white guy, he'll take me on a like plane tour around the city or something, or go do something fun and take me out to dinner and expect nothing from me. And I don't even know his last name and he doesn't know mine. But he might go spend money on me and do this. And it's like, I don't even expect that. I like to just go around and walk and talk and go see stuff and get to know them as a person. But they're like, let's do this. And like a lot of the time I'm like, no. But then they're like, let's do this. But then they never expect anything. They never try and kiss me or even hold my hand. But we might go out on a few dates after that. And they're doing stuff like this all the time. And it's like, we're cool and everything. But they're never expecting anything from me. But guys are like, you're a gold digger, you need to put out, you need to do something. And it's like, I don't understand it because I didn't grow up that way. Because, like, even with my friends, like, I grew up, my friends, like, they would ask me, hey, do you want to go somewhere? And I'm like, sure. And then they'll go buy me like a $500 ticket, to, like, front row ticket to a concert. And it's like, I didn't pay for anything, I didn't pay for food or anything. Yeah, just like different things. Like they'll say, "Hey, let's go out to dinner." And I just show up and then they pay for everybody's dinner. It's like a table full of dinner. So like when I see like cuz it's like say it's my friend's birthday and they invite me out to dinner, they're going to pay for the whole dinner. It's like we're not paying like their family sent them money for them to pay for everybody's dinner. So they're paying for everybody's dinner. It's like we're not fighting over who paid, who ordered this, who ordered that. Your family wanted you to go out to spend time with your friends. They gave you a couple $100 for you and your friends to go out to dinner and they pay for everything. So it's like I've never had a situation like that. And just like things like that I see that people say are normal. It's like I've never had situations like that. Cuz it's like if it's my friend's birthday, like their family will send money and then they pay for the whole dinner for everybody. Or if it's not something like that and I go out to lunch with a friend, it's like, oh, okay, I have this, I'll pay for this. It's like never a split check or anything. It's like you pay, somebody's going to pay for it. It's like you ask me, you pay. That's always the experience I've had. But then from what I hear from other people, they're like, no, you don't do this. Because I was even talking to my sister, and like we have different social groups. I guess you would say my social group is a little more well off, and they tend to be not black. And my social group pays for things and will do things. And then also with the guys I date, because like my sister, I was talking to her and she's like, her experience is like completely different because it's like if I go out with somebody, if I'm on a date with somebody, they're paying for everything. But one thing I won't do, I won't have somebody pick me up at my house and drop me off at my house unless I like know them and like we've been together for a while. It's like then you can pick me up and drop me off at my house. Otherwise, I won't have someone pick me up or drop me off at my house. I'll meet them somewhere and then they'll pay for everything. And it's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't even kiss this person. I didn't even hold their hand. And it's like, I could date somebody for months, not kiss them, hold their hand or anything. And they pay for everything. And it's like, that's not a flex or anything. That's just normal. Because some people say what's normal to you isn't normal to them. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. But I started dating differently. Cause I generally date, cause even, and it's not even just a white man thing, cause I've dated a lot of white guys, and they always pay. I've dated a lot of Muslim guys, Muslim, Middle Eastern, they always pay. They always pay, open doors, and all that good stuff. But when I've dated East Asian guys, like guys from China, I dated a guy from China. He did not pay. He did not open doors. And it was like, wasn't a match. He, it was just bad. And have I haven't really dated too many guys from like China and stuff. It didn't work out well. And then a Korean guy. Dated some Korean guys that didn't work out. But I've dated guys from India. It didn't work out, but they generally open doors, pay, and do all the same stuff that white guys do, except some Indian guys will talk and be annoying. And then other Indian guys are like so sweet. But I did date a guy from Afghanistan. Uh, I don't know. I just feel like maybe that's a growing culture and everything, and getting acclimated to the American culture. So it's like, I don't really hold judgment there or anything. But it was like, I don't know. I think the Chinese guy did. I think he was on drugs though. He was like an engineer, but I think he was high. Yeah. And that was like my first experience at like Del Taco, which was interesting because I've never been to a fast food place or place that served paper plates. And that was an interesting experience. But generally, it's like weird because I'll just say I'm looking for someone that meets my basic standards. And I think my standards are pretty basic. And people tell me my standards are like too low. But black men, they're like, your standards are too high. You're looking for a white man. And then this last guy that I dated, he looked like a white man, but he identified as Latino. And he's like, your standards are too high. You're looking for a white man. But I think he might have been mentally ill. Because he just like randomly, it was like, okay, he'd just like freak out on me sometimes. We'd get along. And then he'd freak out on me. And then we went out. And it was like weird because I've never gone out with a guy where he shows up. Because it was like, this guy was cute. But then he shows up and he's wearing a pair, because it's like when you buy store-bought ripped jeans and stuff. But he had like his pocket on the back of his jeans were like ripped off. And it's like, I've never gone out with somebody who had like the back pocket of their jeans like ripped off, and he wasn't attacked or anything. He just showed up dressed like that. And it was like, okay, this is interesting. And it was like, I was cool with it. And then come to find out, he had no job. He was on government benefits. It was really strange because it was like you were in need and it sounded like your family was in need, but you didn't want to get your family help because it was from the government, so you'd rather have them suffer. And then he was like, he's a Trump supporter. And then it was like, I was confused. It was like, okay, you're a Trump supporter, that's fine. But then when he was trying to get me to support, I think it was Queers for Palestine, and then I'm like, Trump supports Queers for Palestine, and I'm like, wait, what? It's like that makes no sense to me, and I thought it was stupid. And he was upset with me, and then he started going on about Jehovah, and I'm like, wait, are you a Jehovah's Witness? And then he's like, no, and everything. And I'm just like, okay, this is weird. And I'm like, Jehovah, I'm not into Jehovah. And then he was telling me to look up something because it was in the Bible. And when I looked it up, it was like those little pamphlets that the Jehovah's Witnesses pass out. It took me to that website. And I'm like, do you read the Jehovah's Witnesses pamphlets? Because he was telling me he grew up not too far from from a place that I know is a Jehovah's Witness center. And I'm just like, okay, what happened here? It was like, yeah. And then I realized, okay, because he was like saying he had some issues. And it was like, I was willing to overlook your issues and give you a chance and everything. And I was even offering to help you get a job and write you a resume. And it was weird because I had a bag with me when we met up, because I had my bag with me because I was planning on shopping and stuff. And in San Francisco and California in general, you need to bring a bag with you if you don't want to pay for a bag. So I had my bag with me, and then he's like, do you have weapons in there? And I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. Yeah. And he was upset with me and we no longer talk because he was like getting aggressive. And I'm like, why are you being so abusive towards me? And he's like, if you want to see abusive, I'll show you abusive. And it was like, that was the end of our conversations. And we haven't seen or spoken to each other since. And it was weird because I was just saying I like to go on vacations and celebrate my birthday. And I do a good size vacation. And I'm thinking, like, it's not a big deal. I've been at my job for a long time. I get paid vacation. That's normal. Most people who have a job and they've been there a long time, they get a few weeks off and paid vacation. And that's when I found out he had no, because he was saying he had a job and he worked every day. He didn't have a job. And I don't know, because he was saying he had roommates, but he didn't like his roommates. And I don't know what was going on there, but it was weird. And turns out he was like a day laborer. He did like day labor or whatever, or gigs. And I offered to help him get a job and write him a resume and put it on Indeed, but he was like, I worked at every job on Indeed, and it was like, okay, this is a red flag. I'm thinking this man is mentally ill, because he like would freak out on me. And then the Jehovah thing, and then he's like, you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, and he was going on about Jehovah. And it was just like, okay, this is weird. I've never experienced this. And I don't know, in my experience dating guys that are more on the middle class, I don't have to deal with issues like that. But I grew up pretty much in the middle class thing, but I'm not white. And I thought I'd be able to relate to other people. And it's like I've tried to date like black guys and stuff, but it hasn't worked out because they're always making comments about me not being black enough. I don't talk right. I don't dress right. And my behavior is not okay. I'm always being told by black people. And it's like, I don't understand it, but like white people don't do that to me. And they're like, you're fine. And it's like, I don't understand cultural issues. And yeah, so that hasn't really worked out for me. And then I gave this guy a chance. He was like from San Francisco, from an urban area. And I don't know if my experiences with trying to date like guys in urban areas, it doesn't go well, and it generally ends with them yelling at me. And like that's another thing that's weird. Like I date guys in the suburbs and like middle class, like white guys, Middle Eastern guys. They don't yell at me. They don't yell at me. They don't raise their voice to me. They're just like always nice, and like they'll give me a hug, and it's like if it doesn't work out, we're still friendly. We see each other, it's friendly. Like I have exes that I've dated years ago. It's like if they see me, they'll like hug me and give me a kiss on my forehead. Like there's this guy I used to date in San Francisco, and every now and then when I go by Macy's, I might see him like walking down the street because he doesn't live too far from there. And he's like such a sweet guy, and we dated, and I was like really young, and I'll still see him every now and then he'll come up to me and he'll give me a hug and a kiss on my forehead, and then we'll talk and stuff, and we're still friendly. But and we'll joke around and everything, but I don't understand like black guys are, and then Latino guys are always getting mad at me and stuff. And it's like most of the guys I've dated are like transplants to San Francisco. They might be from North Africa. They might be from a suburb from somewhere else around Europe. And we generally have, and even the guys from India that I've dated, we have a good rapport and relationship where it's like it's not bitter after. We're still generally friendly. And they would yell at me. Even like some guys I've dated, and it's like, okay, I don't really like you anymore. But if I see you, it's like you're not gonna yell at me or something. You're not gonna be upset with me. But with some of the black guys, it's like nothing happened and you're yelling at me, you're saying I disrespected you, I did something. And it's like, I'm treating you just like I treat everyone else, and no one's ever said that to me. No one's ever gone off on me. Or, I don't know, it's like, I've seen this with like guys. It's like you'll try and ask me out, but you don't want to pay either. And it's like, okay, I really don't understand this. And then it's like you're trying to make me humble myself. And then you're saying this. And then I hear this thing, like I've heard this for like years, that guys want you to cook for them. And it's like, I know how to cook and all that stuff. But the guys that I've dated, they always want to cook for me, like the Middle Eastern, the white, the Indian, Asian guys, they always want to cook for me. But then I hear like guys want you to cook for them, and I've never had a guy say he wanted me to cook for him. I offer to cook for them. They're like, "No, I want to take you out to dinner." But then I hear like black guys want you to cook for them and all this stuff, and it's like I don't understand it. I guess it's like different cultural things. I don't know. Yeah, and then if I ask, if I go out with a white guy and he's like, "Oh, we should go on a trip. We should go somewhere and do something fun, a getaway date or something," and they'll pay for it. And if I ask, well, I've never really dated a black guy, but like they've tried to date me, but then it's like, okay, I feel uncomfortable. You're yelling at me and you're upset with me, but it's like you're trying to ask me out, but you're upset with me. And it's just like awkward and like I don't know. And then like they'll talk to me about stuff and then they're like, "You don't know this?" And it's like, "No, I grew up in the suburbs. We don't really talk about that stuff. I don't know what that means or anything." And then like sometimes I'll Google stuff to understand. Like I commented on this YouTube page about like they were talking about women wearing wigs and weaves and stuff. It's like I've seen black women wear braids and stuff. I've done that before, but I've never really. I saw this recently. I saw a woman. She was wearing a blonde wig, and I knew it was a wig because it looked like a wig. But generally, I don't see like black women walking around with like wigs and weaves. Like I might see it every now and then, and a lot of the time when I see it, they're from like different countries. But generally, I don't see that where I live. But I do live in a prominently white community. But I don't see that. Like with the wigs, the weaves, the nails, the makeup, and the lashes. I wouldn't even know where to go and get like the lashes because you have to get that done. Like where I live, there's like nowhere where you'd go and get that done. I don't know. You'd have to go like far away to like probably a more urban area. But that's not something I see every day or ever really. And I was like, that's not normal. And they're like, oh, you don't know, you've never seen a black woman? I'm like, yeah, I see them all the time. And they don't have all that stuff. And I think it's just like cultural differences. Because even when I went to the South and I went to other places like bigger cities, and I go to San Francisco all the time, it's like, I don't see that stuff. But then again, I'm generally in what would be called white spaces. Like if I'm in San Francisco, I'm probably like at the wharf around that area, the financial district, Soma, the marina, or the Presidio, or over in the Sunset or something. And those are all generally predominantly white areas, white or Asian areas. And I don't see those things. Even when I go to the Fillmore and they have like a beauty supply over there, and it's like I've seen stuff in the beauty supply, but I've never actually seen people like really wearing this stuff. So it's like I've never seen it. And I go to Oakland and I haven't seen it. I've gone to Richmond and like Berkeley. It's like there are black people in Berkeley, but I haven't seen that. But if I go to Berkeley, I'm generally around like the UC Berkeley downtown area, and it's like I don't see all that stuff. So I don't know. But people say that's like common and normal. It's like when I go out, I don't see that stuff. It's like I might see somebody that has like extensions or a wig or a weave every now and then, but it's not like to the extent that like they make it seem like it is that I see. Or maybe that's cuz I'm in Northern California and they're more like microcosms and like neighborhoods where black people are where they do that stuff. But it's like I don't see it like in a hole and stuff, and it's like I've heard of people with the pointy nails. I've seen it on TV. It's like I've never seen that in person though, with like the pointy crazy nails and stuff. And it's not like I don't get out. I've traveled all over North America, Canada, Mexico, South America. I've gone out. I just don't generally see that thing. But then also I'm probably more in the tourist spaces and different things. Because even when I went to New Orleans, I couldn't even find like Southern food. I just had Jimmy John's. But yeah, culture and different things. I don't know. Maybe that affects my dating. Because I'm not used to some experiences and I might have brown skin, but what's more normal to me is what I've said, I've seen, I know. The other stuff, not so normal to me. But people are like, oh, that's normal. It's like, I don't see that. But if you like, watch and subscribe. Bye.